we have some very massive and very important news coming from the Sword and Shield side. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a few different things, but we have to start off with Fusion Strike and Lost Origin. These booster boxes are both going crazy right now. We're going to talk about the chase cards as well. But we just touched on this recently, and I went just to check in on it again today. And look at this chart. 62% growth in the past 3 months, 30% in the past month. This box just ran up. Market's at 350. Last sold, 384, 380, 375, 390, 400 right here, 399. This was just a few days ago. So these are continuing to run, which isn't a big surprise, but how quickly it's happening is maybe a little surprising. This is nearing in on a $400 box. The listed median price is $485. If you want to pick one up right now, you're looking at, on TCG, $375 to $400, $380, $400, somewhere in that range for a booster box. Now that, I mean, this chart's not working right on here. Sometimes TCG chart doesn't always work. But in the past year, a year ago, it was $144 at MSRP. Now we are nearing in on $400 for Fusion Strike. And that is just, man, it is killing Lost Origin and the booster box price. However, Lost Origin's starting to move. And both of the chase cards are kind of at the same level. I also wanted to touch in on the Celebi from this set. It's getting some pretty big gains right now. I do think that this is one of the most undervalued alt arts in the era, in my opinion. I think that this card is absolutely stunning, a legendary Pokemon. I think it should be more expensive, but at least we're seeing it start to get some growth here, which is nice to see. It was 3 months ago, it was $27, and now it's up to $43. 79 copies available. Last sold's 39, 49, 39, 40, 50, like going up to $50, maybe. Once again, the explosive growth is hard to sustain, so jumping up this much this quickly, I just wanted to talk about it. I just think it's an underrated art, and it is stunning in person. Give it a little bit of time in the limelight. Now, it's not up to the 1 year high. It ran up to 47 before, so it's got a little ways to go. Some of those sales are exceeding, but I would like to see it crack that. It is looking strong, though, because it did set a higher low. A little. It was at 24, 25. Came back down to 27, 28. So kind of a higher low. But anyways, Celebi, just wanted to shout it out there. Also, there was a commenter who was asking for more PSA 10 prices. I will try and do better about that. And starting with the Celebi, PSA 10s have been going pretty cheap. If you want to pick up a pretty decent alt art PSA 10, I think this is a good entry point, especially if you're at like 120 right here. 120, 120, 148. Before that, 150, 130, even a 170. So, yeah, I think that that's a pretty decent pickup in a PSA 10, definitely undervalued. But we need to talk about the Gengar as well. The Gengar's maybe leveling out just a little. It's still up 63% in the past 3 months. So that's pretty wild. 313 up to 511. They got market at 510. Last sold's 490, 490, 503, 5, 450. And then before that, 550, 540, and 7. So maybe coming back down just a little. We'll see where it ends up, just to keep an eye on the Gengar. But this is more about the booster boxes, but I just wanted to touch back in on the Gengar. It's leveling out a bit, and the chart's looking real good, because obviously this is well above, $100 above the previous high. So yeah, that's looking really good on the Gengar. On the PSA 10 side, these have been selling for $1,350, $1,200, $1,075, $1,125, $1,250, $1,200. So I mean, I'd say market's closer to $1,200, $1,250-ish, with some going higher, some going lower, kind of on the recent sold. So something to keep an eye on there. I mean, that's over doubling your money. So you're looking real good if you're grading the Gengar VMAX. Also, real quick, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I'm doing a giveaway. You can go back to this video 2 weeks ago, or I'll have it linked at the end. We're doing a booster box of Surging Sparks, Japanese 151, PSA 10, and some sleeved boosters. We're going to be giving those away to 4 winners. So if you want to enter, go watch that video. You have to like, comment, subscribe. Just my way to give back. And then after we hit 10K subs, we will use a random comment picker to announce the winners. Okay, this is another reason, right? Lost Origin. Check out this most recent sale. These most recents right here. I'm going to call it $299.95. I'm going to call it $300. But I mean, and I realize it's kind of the outlier. It's the highest one here. But before that, 292, 289, 270, 289, 270, 280. So pretty much like 280, 290, but now we're at 300 for a Lost Origin booster box, and the chart's going, 27% growth. Not as crazy as Fusion Strike, but $300 price point. You got Fusion Strike going to 400, Lost Origin going to 300. This is a set that a lot of people, including myself, really like for long-term investments. So it's nice to see. It's just taken a little bit. Some people thought it was going to move a little sooner, but yeah, good growth there. 300's a really great price point for this box. 100% in the past year. A year ago, you could have got this for below MSRP at 134. Ran up to 220, came back down to 190, and kind of was moving a little bit. And then obviously the strength of the market, just carrying these boxes. There's a lot of demand, a lot of new people getting in. People are trying to snatch these boxes up before they go to the moon. And with Evolving Skies kind of leading the way, it makes sense that some of these lesser boxes that have been heavily talked about, they're finally starting to see big gains. So that's very nice to see. If you want to pick one up on TCG, I mean, you're looking at for an actual booster box, these ones are loose packs or Spanish, 300. So that's when I kind of say, it's a $300 box now on TCG. Okay, specifically on TCG. Keep that in mind. Also, something that is moving is the booster bundles. These are up 37%, up to about $53 per booster bundle. They were just under 40 for a while 3 months ago, 40 to 53. So pretty good gains there. The 1 year is probably going to look pretty good, 90%. Yeah, so that's actually tracking fairly well with the booster box. So that's they don't always track like 1-to-1. Different products, will do different, and not every set has these booster bundles either. Some of the older sets don't. So 90% is pretty good. 47 available. They're $55 if you want to pick them up, which is a tinge above market. So that means market's pretty much at 55. Pretty much these last sales confirm that. I just wanted to touch on a lesser product. Not everyone can afford the expensive booster box. Maybe you can afford some booster bundles. Just an alternative if you want to get into some Lost Origin investments. So yeah, it's just nice to see some good gains there. Then we got the Giratina, probably my favorite alt art from the era. I have this card in a PSA 10, pretty happy about that. We'll talk about PSA 10 prices in a second. But this card's 53% up. And it's pretty much neck and neck with the Gengar. It's actually technically up a little. 514, they have market at 514. It went from 320, and we just talked about this card. And cracked 500, and now it's up a little bit more to 514. There's only 15 copies available. Sorry, my throat. I got something going on in my throat. 15 copies available on TCG. If you want to pick, you're at above this. Actually, yeah. So this is a Chinese card. 570 is the lowest listed, which is well above market. So you're going to be at 570. Which is not too crazy much higher than this, 540 last sold, which was today. That was as of this morning for the Giratina. PSA 10s, so this is a Korean copy at the top, albeit, this is super random, by the way. That's not a bad price. 200 for this card in a PSA 10. I know it's Korean. I know. Just saying. That's not bad. Comparatively. You got English at, see my throat. I'm sorry, guys. I'll try and get through this. 1250, 1250, 1200, 1200, 11. So, I mean, I'd say that's pretty consistent. 1250, kind of similar to the Gengar. So you got the PSA 10s kind of neck and neck, but apparently the market really likes Fusion Strike as a box more. I mean, I get it. I get it. I get it. I totally get it. Gosh, dang. I'm so sorry. Fusion Strike. I have LO just a little bit above it, personally. I understand why it's the other way. I totally get it. I don't know what my bias is, but I just like LO a little bit more. But Fusion Strike's shaping out to be an amazing investment. The hype behind the set, the Gengar's carrying, but there's enough other good cards in the set. It's looking good. Now we're going to talk about something. I also had another commenter bring this up. They wanted this touched on in a video, so here we are. Sorry, I don't have the comment pulled up to give you some credit. But just a real quick, Hidden Fates, ETBs, just a little bit on the move. 12% up in the past 3 months, with about 10% in the past month, from a low of 180 up to 212. Most recent sales, though, are actually in the 220s. 228s, pretty much all down the board. There's even a 240 sale down here. So Hidden Fates getting a little bit of love. There is there's some nice cards in the set. I'm not going to deny it. The growth is actually pretty solid, 27% for a box if you just have that stashed in your collection, from a low of 160 up to now in the 220s, which would actually make this chart look a little bit better. So yeah, just giving some Hidden Fates some credit. The bull market is making pretty much everything move, it feels like. Now, that actually might be true, but not everything's moving, but most everything is. And so Hidden Fates is no exception to that. Obviously, most of that growth coming recently when the bull market's in full effect. The Charizard, the shiny Charizard, the GX from the set's actually up a little bit as well. $450, about 450, 460. Most recent sale, though, seemed 500, 499. Before that, pretty much 420, 440. With a few 480, 470 kind of in there. So I say that market price is pretty accurate. Once again, nothing crazy, just 8% up. I just wanted to give it a little bit of attention. The 1 year chart's looking pretty good, 22% growth. It was 370 back here a year ago. Went up to 450, came back down to 420, and now we're at the 1 year high here. If you want to pick one up, you're looking at 460, which is at market. So this is available at market. PSA 10 prices are last solds on eBay 709, 750, 709, 720, 875. That's a high. Whoever sold that, good on them. That's the high. And then 900 down here. But before that, pretty much in that 7 range. Low to mid 7s is fairly accurate. It's not everything going up though. The shiny Umbreon is actually down. I know it's just 2% from here to here, but on the 1 month, bouncing back up 5%. Just trying to touch on a few other cards. Maybe not everyone is interested, once again, or is even aware of these cards. So sometimes I just like to bring up some cards just for some attention. There's so many new people coming into the hobby. I see all the comments saying, I just came into the hobby. I'm new. I don't know, or they came back after a long time. That's pretty common as well. But the shiny Umbreon's actually up pretty good on the 1 year. It was 112, ran up to 170. And yeah, so now it's rebounding back a little bit. Only 19 copies available on TCG. About 157. So that's about market. If you want to pick one up, you can buy one at market price. 157 raw. PSA 10s are not too crazy. 250, 250, 230. 175, that one's a little low. 225. So pretty consistent 220, 250-ish range. We also have some movement on some brilliant stars to a lesser extent than some of the other boxes, but I just wanted to include this in the video. 17% growth in the past 3 months, from 180 to 214. Market 214, however, last sold's 227. Before that, it's about 220-ish, 215, 220-ish. There's a few 220s in there. So this market price makes sense. It's not too crazy. I like this set. It's underrated, I think, still. That Charizard is still undervalued, in my opinion. But it's up 32% overall. So, and we're seeing a lot of good growth right here recently, from that 180 to the 2 teens. So this underappreciated, undervalued. We'll see where it ends up. Obviously, you got Evolving Skies, Elo, and Fusion. And then it's kind of like, and Chilling. Sorry, I forgot about Chilling Range would probably be included up in there. And then, you got like your Brilliant Stars, your Silver Tempest, some of your lesser sets to kind of fight it out for the bottom boxes. But it does make you wonder, like, with Evolving Skies being where it's at, and now Fusion being like, I'm just going to be a $400 box. Where's Fusion going to end up? And then, like, I feel like if those tier up to those, like, where can the lesser boxes end up? So that's an interesting thing to think about. And I'm going to talk about the Charizard V, number 154 from the set. The greatest Charizard artwork of all time, in my opinion. I get a lot of people saying that this Charizard's better. It's fun. I like hearing what everyone's favorite Charizard is in the comments. That's always fun. But just continuing to climb. 44% growth in the past 3 months, from 130 up to 188. I think this should be at least 250 raw. I don't see why it can't. I get it. But Charizard fatigue, the PSA 10 pop report is less than the Umbreon. I get it, but I'm just gonna champion it while it's while it's moving. It's my favorite card. So 44% up. Last sold's 189. There is a 212 sale here, so that would be nice to see if we could crack 200. Pretty consistent, like 180s, 190s. So I think that market price is kind of acceptable. I don't get to determine the market, so the market is what the market is. You want to pick one up right now on TCG, you're looking at 190. The 1 year chart looking pretty good. It's not gotten back to this alt art boom price, which was pretty much 200. Before that, it was 115. Went up to 200, back down to 120, and now we're nearing $200 on the Charizard. I'm going to keep talking about it, guys. I'm sorry. I like this card too much. Then we got the PSA 10 prices. So these haven't really jumped that much. These were kind of where they were before. Maybe they were up a little. I was seeing a lot of like 350 sales more recently. Now we're at 370, 360. So it's moving a little. But I mean, there's a 330 that just sold the other day. 350, 350. So another, just a card I think should be more in a PSA 10. I'd like to see it around 500 at least. I mean, when you compare to the Gengar, the Giratina, look what those are, like 1200. This can't get 500 in a PSA 10. So maybe it'll get its time. Maybe the booster boxes need to continue to rise in value. Maybe it'll never happen and I'm just delusional, but this is like the one card I'm like, come on, this should be more expensive. And I know it's a case-by-case basis. You can't just say, well, the Umbreon pop is 13,000 and this is less, so therefore this can still do good. It's not always. Supply and demand, obviously the demand is not high enough for this card, and more PSA 10s are being graded all the time. So the supply is coming in and the demand is not growing to where I want it to be, apparently. Also, the little rainbow from Brilliant Stars, just up a solid little 18%. 18% from 45 up to 55. So a little $10 gain. Most recent sale though, we got a 65. So that's the outlier, obviously. Only the one. Before that, pretty consistent, like 51, 52 sales. Another 63 down here. Excuse me, my having all sorts of problems. I'm coughing, my throat's messed up, and my mouth. 51, 53. So yeah, it's pretty consistent market value for the rainbow. I feel like a lot of these rainbows kind of maybe, I don't know if they're getting outshadowed by like the SV new rainbow everything that's going on, but they're nice, but they just don't quite hold the same like level for me. This card's actually down on the 1 year chart. A year ago this was $65, 65, and it ran all the way down to 43, and so now it's decent little rebound. Obviously the ebb and flow of cards happens all the time. It's not too crazy, but in the recent times we haven't really seen, when you pull out a 1 year chart, that's actually down. So that is something interesting. You can pick one up right now, 52, 53 roughly on the Charizard's what you're looking at. So yeah, that's Brilliant Stars. I don't think there's anything too crazy I wanted to touch on here. We just talked about this somewhat recently, so there's not really a whole lot moving right now. The booster box is up a little in the Charizard, but other than that, it kind of is what it is. So, in summary to that, Fusion Strike be popping off. I mean, that is honestly, that's crazy. Getting close to 400 a box. But Lost Origin, I'm pretty happy about that personally. Lost Origin 300, Fusion 400. Well, I'm gonna call it 4. I know it's a premature 400. Fusion 400, LO 300. I can live with that, even though I like LO better. Alt arts, some of them like leveling out, maybe growing a little. I don't know how much further some of these are gonna go like right now. I don't know. But it's just nice to see, especially as somebody, like I own the Giratina in a PSA 10, one of my more valuable cards. It's not like that's probably one that's staying in the PC, like I'm not selling that. So, but it's nice to know. I mean, I should never say never. There's a scenario in which I could let go of it, but just for transparency's sake, like I bought that, was that last year? Was that last year or no? Maybe it was like early this year. I can't remember. I paid around 600. No, not around. I know exactly what it was. It was like 600 exactly, for a PSA 10 copy. So very happy. My card, it's like doubled since I picked it up in a PSA 10. I did not pull it and grade it. I I'm not ripping enough boxes to justify that. I would never. Too expensive. I will lose too much money trying to pull cards, especially Sword and Shield era, just notoriously tough to pull. So yeah, how I'm feeling about all of that, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't got much going on. I don't have as much Infusion Strike as I have in LO, so that maybe a misplay. All right. Also trying to be open and honest. I liked LO more. I should have done a little bit more Fusion Strike. Maybe should have diversified a little bit more and split the difference a little. You just never know. Okay, I put my eggs in that basket. Not that LO's not going to do good. LO could surpass. Okay, but that's just, you know, kind of where I'm at between the two sets. A little bit of Brilliant Stars. Happy there. PSA 10, and you know, I got boxes and stuff, so pretty happy there. But I'm gonna stop rambling. That's it. If you guys are this far and you haven't subscribed, to go check out the giveaway video. I think it should be this one up here. I don't know, but enter the giveaway. Just in, like I said, 10K. Appreciate you guys trying to give back. You guys have been great. I'll catch you in the next one, and remember, it was never a phase.